Hi, guys, and welcome to Finish It Friday, episode 56. So, before we get started, can you guys give me not only a thumbs up, because I always like the thumbs up, but can someone type in a comment as you're watching this? I haven't received a single comment in the last 3 weeks, and I don't know if it's because of the way I rearranged my doing my live on Saturday, or if it has to do with my son and setting up the new computer. But I haven't got a comment on any of my videos in like the last 3 weeks. So if you could help me out with that, I would greatly appreciate it. Okay, so here's where we're at from Wednesday. So we have our two bases. I'm going to do 2 cards. You can use just one base card, but usually I like using 2 different pieces of designer series paper. If your coordinating sides work out okay, you can just do this with 1 designer series paper. It's really up to you. All right, so what I like to do, and I have a scrap for a sentiment. What I like to do, and what I'm going to do here is, whenever I'm going to cut designer series paper and I want it to layer it, let's say we're going to do like an angle. Here's how you normally would set up that designer series paper. When I want to cut it like an angle or a slight angle, I move it down just a little bit more. And the reason I do this is so that it looks I have at least doubled that, is because it automatically allows for that same angle cut, and you don't have to do a lot of measuring. You don't have to like measure up 1/2 inch or whatever. So let me get out my cutter here, and I'm just going to put a slight curve to this. Make sure that I have this. Let me get back in here. I want to make sure these are lined up exactly, and I want to make sure that I have these sides exact how I want them. And see how I'm a little bit down further. Make sure that that looks a little off center. There we go. So now I'm just going to go over here, do my slight cut, and I'm going just right above. Let me make sure that's out of there, right above where that little space is. Now you're cutting through a lot of layers. All right, so you might have to go back and forth. All right, so now when I come back here, see how now, let me fold that so you can see. Let me put this underneath here so you can see that. See how now I have a perfect border on all sides, and the angle is still the same. All right, so let's go ahead, and here's the pieces that we cut off. And there's that piece too. So then we're going to take one of these, and you can lay it underneath here and have like a continuation. That's what, oh no, just a minute. Did I lose my Manicam? No, phew. And it's still moving. Okay. So you can lay that right underneath there, and I do like the way that looks. So then when you open it up, you have your continuation in there. And if you wanted to put a piece, let me get this out. If you want to put an inside piece under here to put that on top of, you can. So let's go ahead and finish this one up that way. How about that? So let me get out. You know what? I think I will go back to my seal today. Oh, that one's out. Let me see. This one has some in it. Sorry about that. I have to get in there and reload all of my seals because they were out when I last tried to order. So I've been using my glue a lot, which is fine. Need to use that glue a little bit more. So I am going to put this right on the bottom of that edge, because then when it comes out here, you're going to see just a little bit of that. So let's go ahead. Put my glue on there. You know what? Why do I always put my cutter away? Because you know I use my cutter as a guide on these things. That way I know it's lined up. All right. So let's go ahead, put seal around there. Lay my inside in. Put this piece on the top. And if you wanted to use the opposite one, you could. If you wanted to use the opposite side, you could. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that here in a second. So let's get this lined up the way I want it. And there you have a card ready for a greeting. All right, so let's grab that other piece that we cut. So here's the other piece that we cut. We have this under piece. Now this under piece looks nice as far as it's complementary to what we have out here. Yes, I know this is water, this is wood, but still, it looks good. So let's go like that. Then we have this little tiny piece here. That's where you could put your scrap in. See, I have this, that's a little bit too big, but we'll show you what I mean. So let's go ahead. You could stamp something here, you can stamp here, but let's put this down first. And I am going to go ahead, leave my little bit of a bonnet. I'm going to put this then over the top of that. Get that border, and you want to make sure your sides, so you're not going to push this down. So you're going to get that side there. And I said not to push it down. Listen. All right, let's go like this. Might be a little bit easier. So I'm going to hover right above about where I want that. Make sure that my side is even, and then press down. Like I said, you have that little bit there, and you can leave it like that if you want to. I am going to take, let me get out here. Here's all my little half scraps. And I'm going to find a color that I kind of like mixing with that. I don't want it to be matchy-matchy. That looks kind of nice. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's grab this. Let's figure out what greeting I'm going to use now with my examples. I used mainly these two. Okay, so I think I want to use that happy holidays again. All right, so I'm sorry. These are both in the September to December mini catalog, Joy to You and Throughout the Year. Put that over here. Let's get out. I'm going to use the white only because let me first line this up straight across the block. This is more of a vanilla look, but I want that white for contrast. So let me go grab, this might be tricky because I don't know if I've used this Azure Afternoon very often. Hey, by the way, those of you who do Wordle, how about using that word Azure? What was it, like a week ago? I think it's when I was in Iowa. I'm like, really? You're going to give it a Z? All right, anyway, so lining that up. Hopefully it's straight. Looks pretty good. Let's go over here to the trimmer. Let's trim it down. All right. Again, I use my trimmer a lot as a measuring device. So like I'll move this over until those two H's are right along this ridge here. Because then I know that I'm going to get a pretty good layer around there. So again, move that out of the way. I'm going to get that H right to the inside of that groove there. And there you go. Now I'm going to go ahead, lay this down on this scrap of Azure Afternoon. See, now I have to be careful because I'm on this hard surface and it doesn't work as good on the hard surface. Let me get this down here so it lines up pretty good. I can make sure that I'm somewhat straight in there. And now I'll put the edge of the card on the inside of this groove here. Because then I know that also is going to give me a good border. Oh, I don't have it right on the inside of there. Let me try that again. There we go. Yeah, so I use my cutter a lot to measure up and get layers. All right, and if you don't like, I think that one's just a hair too big. Instead of running the where that blank was, but if you wanted to leave it so it shows, that's fine too. All right, let me get that right up to that edge. I did not pop this up with dimensionals only because not wanting to pay that extra postage, but you most certainly could do that or put jewels. You also could stamp in this area around the DSP if you wanted to. All right, so there's the two for today. There's that piece and there's that piece. Let me go ahead and show you more cards that I created. Most of them, like I said, I went with the whole angle route. Now these are both portrait, which is very unusual for me. I usually do a lot of landscape. So here's the landscape one. As you can see, again, I don't know if you can see under here. Let me do this. These are the two pieces that are cut at an angle and flipped. So there's your little space left down there if you wanted to. Here's another one that's portrait. Again, you can see a little bit of that gap there. I did a little bit of a deeper angle on that diagonal cut. Here's one where I actually put a third piece of DSP scrap underneath there. Here's one where I did it landscape horizontally going that way with a little bit. Here is another one where I put a strip of that DSP underneath there. So here's my angle. Here's my angle there. And then this last one I haven't done a grading with, but it shows you here's those two diagonal pieces that are cut off from one another and just flipped and rotated. So if you pulled this off, it would match up to flipping this down here. It would match up to this. Let me see. I can show you. See how that's that wood background. So that's just a piece flipped over, and then I haven't covered anything up there. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me on Finish Up Friday. Give me a thumbs up. Send me a comment so I know that I haven't somehow turned the comments off. But most of all, have a great day. We'll see you soon. Bye now.